Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Nick Baldwin, co-founder of Lab Code Agents. I am here today again with Kyle Hunter. He is the industry principal Lone Wolf, and we love Lone Wolf here at LCA, but Lone Wolf is working on something a little bit different as opposed to your everyday lead generation, unmet people you don't know, people clicking on your ads. We're not going to talk about that today because in today's competitive real estate market, staying connected with your sphere of influence is really essential for driving referrals and repeat business. And I know a lot of you guys focus on your sphere and past clients and referrals. So how do you build meaningful relationships when your schedule is super packed? How do you stay on top of the people in your life that matter most? Well, Lone Wolf has a brand new system called Lone Wolf Relationships, and we're going to show you how to save time with smart automation, keeping you organized, how to use AI effectively to stay in touch with people, and just basically simplify your workflow by syncing calendars and contacts with your Google Calendar and your Outlook calendar. So, all right, Kyle, thanks for being here with us again. I appreciate it.
Sounds good, Nick. It's always a pleasure. I love being able to jump on and you have such a great audience and a diverse group of agents that do a lot of things, and so we appreciate the ability to kind of partner with you on taking you to a lot of times what's new and what we haven't showed before. So in this case, we are kind of releasing something that's the first time on Lab Code Agents. We obviously have a really good deal for you, but let's kind of tell you about what the problem we're trying to solve with this new solution a little bit. So yeah. I don't know if you guys was I able to share that correctly or
what did you share?
I got a little. There we go. Okay.
Oh, your screen. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So today we're talking about really strengthening your sphere. Again, many agents, most of you guys, really you have a wide audience. You know people in your neighborhoods. You know people in your your friends and your family, and that in many of the brokerages and the training and the coaching. This is where you generate most of your business. Sure, some of you buy leads, and then there's leads programs. We have our own. We talked about Leads Plus, and it's a way to kind of supplement that. But building and nurturing your sphere is always important and always generally the best driver of winning business and really keeping your name in the area so that you get referrals and you're able to stay connected with the people that you're talking about. So we have built a solution, and it is called Relationships, and really what we've looked at in the market, CRMs are as old as real estate, as a book that you're writing them down in, as top producer, as all of these. And so there's so many CRMs, and they do all these different types of things. And where we took a little bit different approach, and where we're trying to leverage are the agent relationships and the ability to easily stay connected with not a lot of noise. And so with that, today, people expect personal relationships. They expect things that are catered to what they are looking to kind of receive that information. They don't want some canned responses or templated type things. They want to have things that are more catered to, how they are used to being communicated with. So with those multiple systems and kind of fragmented ways that these things work, we have tried to hone in on giving agents the ability to quickly nurture large groups of contacts that are, people that they work with in their sphere. Obviously this stat that everyone throws around, 80% of homeowners say they use the same agent, only 12 do. Why is that? Sure, some of them are out of the business, some of them, have different choices, but a lot of times it's because, that 7-year period, that average period when someone makes that move, they don't stay in contact because it's more difficult. You switch CRMs, you do this, you do that, you do things, and you lose that connection, and you also lose the ability for that person that you made happy and worked with them and successfully brought them brought them their largest financial decision, and you're not leveraging that for future referrals. So again, we've
Or you just
tried.
don't have a system at all and you just don't know how to follow up.
Yeah, and Nick, I mean, I'm surprised. You see like the NAR putting out stats, and on some cases, there's agents that don't use any CRM. They're still using just their phone and pad and sticky
Yeah,
paper,
or a spreadsheet or something.
spreadsheet. Others have 2 or 3 that are running, and so what works best for you. I mean, there's different ways of addressing this, but again, this is our attempt at it. So here we did win. And so last month there was the Inman event in San Diego, and Lone Wolf was selected as the most innovative lead servicing solution. And
Very
so
cool.
again, not a lead generation, lead servicing. So it's really just, kind of catering to that relationship. Just out of curiosity, Nick, what would you say the percentage of your business is sphere of influence?
Yeah, so I recently got back into the business here in Michigan, but I'm originally from, I mean, in terms of like selling, buying and selling. But when I was selling in New Jersey for many years, I sold there for, 14, 15 years. I would say probably 70% of my business was repeat or SOI or referrals.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, I mean, again, and you as a high producer, you need that, and you need, both sides of the fence, but the ability to stay in front of them, is important. So, where we took a little bit different approach, as I've mentioned, is try to design it to simplify the look, the feel, to make it easy to get in and use without having to learn or go through a bunch of training. We want to make it super intuitive so that when you log in, it's just like, exactly where to go, what to do, because it's just easy.
And just so everyone knows, this CRM is separate from the Lone Wolf that we've talked about in the past. This is like a whole separate system in its own, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's brand new. So we wrote this from the ground up. Lone Wolf acquired quite a few different companies. You might be familiar with Lion Desk. There was Property Base. There's some other solutions, and while different ones have different purposes, we looked at all of those across the board and said we need something that fits into our foundation. That is something that's easy to use and easy to maneuver. And so this is basically the result of that. It's no secret. I think, we had some announcements where, Lion Desk was a system that we decided that, didn't fit into our go forward strategy. And part of that was, just some of the solution, the way that it worked, kind of its focus. And this is where kind of that new solution that we've created and rolled out to be simple, to be easy to use, and to keep the customer or the client in focus. So making it super easy for them to have that communication with maybe not all of the things, all of the noise that some CRMs are in today, where you can do all this stuff, but you really don't need to do all that stuff. You only need to do about 25% in what's most of those. And those are just focusing on that relationship building and nurturing. So that's really where we've focused. Communication with customers is very important. We do have things such as AI. So obviously, just like everyone else, we have that, but we're leveraging the AI components to make messaging super easy and quick. So the ability to have curated messages based on the person, based on that client, and have it pulled in so that it just generates it for you, individual for the person. So you're not creating a template that's going to be the same for everyone. You're creating something that's really tied back to that individual person so that it can see various components of what you have in that, about that person, so that you're not creating that same message. And that's really what we're trying to get away from, is having something that's curated to the individual. And then nurturing, obviously, all done from one place. So it's important to have it connected in to all of your emails. I know many of you, I know Nick, I know you probably have more than one email. I think I have about 7. So being able to consolidate.
I've got 3.
You got 3. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean, I think that's another one of those NAR questions. I think the average agent has about 5 different emails, and so having that ability. So do other consumers. So your customers have different emails, different things that are coming in, and having that ability to synchronize those things, is going to be super important. The automation. Okay, so back to the full through line of Lone Wolf and what we've done from the company as a whole. Whether I know we're talking to many of you agents, but also our brokerage side of the house, our MLS and association side of the house. Our mission statement is to simplify real estate. So really to simplify the things that agents, brokerages, administrators, everyone in this whole process do. And part of that is saving time. Okay, saving time with smart automation. And this is where we have a lot of things that make that hit at the right time. So when you're logged in or when you're not, when you're receiving that information, we want to make sure that the reminders, the personalized messages, all of the things that you need to do to work on a day in, day out basis hit exactly when you need them to. So, that's a big part of what we focused on. So instead of having, other ways that you're managing things, and again, you mentioned some of those that are still in Excel or still in, written sticky notes or whatever the case may be, having that as simple as possible so that transition is easy to not have to learn all these places to go. It's just all in one, central area. So again, this is where we have a lot of automation, whether it's creating taglines, whether it's tying into your social media, to automating emails, following up, having that push, having it all centralized makes it super easy for you to just do your day-to-day operations. I mentioned this, having everything in one place. Okay, so all of the different emails and leads and everything that people have today, we can now have it in one area with one tag so that you know what's going on with that person. It's super simple. Instead of having a bunch of different tabs across the top, or instead of having different areas that you need to go in and find things, we wanted to make it super easy with one easy to navigate dashboard so that it just kind of tells you everything that you need. Not all the extra fluff, really get straight to the point of what's going on with your people. I do want to point out, if you're using our transaction management product, our e-sign and signature solution, it also has a nice little tie-in to that so that you can see any of the deals that are going on. It will kind of nest those right under that relationship section. So it kind of ties in to some of the other things that we do at Lone Wolf. Obviously, you don't have to use that, but many of you are today using some of our transaction e-signature solutions. And so it makes it nice and simple to have that tied right in. And then it gives you a nice deal tracker. And so you can see all of your deals that are going on as well, right within that contact. I actually was just on a webinar earlier with Transact, and one of the big highlights that many of the people were really excited about was having the dashboard so that the agent can see exactly what deals they have going on, who they need to follow up with, all of the various things that are tied into that Lone Wolf Foundation. And so this is just one additional place where you have that simplicity from a dashboard perspective, if you're using the relationship component. So again, easy to follow up, easy to track all the client behavior, and easy to transition and start using. So that's kind of our theme. I feel like I'm talking a lot here, Nick. I'd love to hear your perspective on maybe what are your thoughts? Any initial thoughts? Because I know this is kind of your first thought of
Yeah. So I was curious if there are any, because relationships are much different than leads that are coming into the system that you've never met before through pay-per-click or Facebook or Realtor.com or Zillow or whatever. are there any sort of like email campaigns that you can just kind of set and forget? Monthly check-ins, like of, something that might be interesting to your clients. Like, is there anything in there? Because agents are terrible at building campaigns. Is there anything to help you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great question. Again, this is where we have quite a few pre-built templates to make it easy. We have the ability for you to utilize AI. So we really have a couple different ways to answer this. So one, we build right into ChatGPT so that you can pull in, various things. So if you want to create your own and put in a bullet point or a couple bullet points about the person individually, you can do that.
Oh, that's cool.
You can start with one of the pre-built templates we have and modify or even layer in various AI components into that. So if you want to build out those messages.
So like, can you build out a campaign, or is it just kind of like a one-off right now? How does it look?
Nope, you can do both. And in this one, I don't. We don't have the live demo. Maybe next time we can do that.
Okay.
But basically, yes, you can build out emails. You can build out campaigns, however many times. I think I might have a slide a little bit later where it shows how you can have as many different connections to this person as you would like. I actually was talking to someone who, and this was about 2 weeks ago, right after the Inman, when they were talking about the usage and how long they could do this. But they actually have campaigns. They build out 7-year campaigns, which is kind of crazy, but they have it automatically built out because of the average, time that someone moves is 7 years.
That's pretty amazing.
It's quite robust. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going into that. They do stagger the time. So there was a lot of cool little tips and tricks where, they do, 1 quarter, they might hit it up a couple times, and then they do a second. They'll actually layer in, things that are important, like ages of kids and things like that, so that they can know, they're going to school now. They're doing, these different activities that might trigger some sort of need to, to make a move. And so having that in there, there's referral prompts. But anyway, she was asking about how we would build this in, and you can create those right within this workflow so that you can build out as many different ones within this campaign, as you would like. So
yeah, I love that. We're not very good at writing campaigns that are more than one step.
No, I get that, and I think that's a commonplace, not just within the agent industry, but obviously across the world. So you do see that flash up. So if you guys want to try that, we do have an additional Lab Coat Agent special. So you can scan that barcode at any point, and you have that additional 20% off.
Nice.
This is and actually just tying back.
This is exactly what we were talking about.
Yep. So you have all those templates. You'll see you have them listed here. And yes, I mentioned the templates, and yes, you do have templates you can use with agents, but you can customize and craft each one of those a little bit differently. So personalize those without having to start. So you can go in and make any changes. You can make changes individually or in mass. And this really ties back to the engagement, to try to drive more engagement, and just to make sure it doesn't look spammy, it doesn't look unpersonal, but it still gives you that ability to send to a lot of people at one time, and make sure that you're communicating effectively. So we do have those AI driven. So I mentioned that. We have calendaring just like every other system does, but it is very simple. Pulls in your Google Outlook, pulls in those contacts, sets your meetings and calls, puts everything kind of in one look and one feel, makes it easy to switch between the apps so that you can stay focused. So basically having one view, color coded, similar to a lot of people use Gmail. I think I looked in some of the registration. Gmail obviously is overwhelming where people use that. So we have all of those integrations with Google and Outlook to kind of sync and have all that content built into one location. And then Coming soon, sending and messaging text messages. So we are using some, again, some template and some AI into text messaging. Know that that is very critical in the
Yeah.
business today. So it's something that we are doing, sending one-to-one, multiple texts. Cool thing about that is it nests that information so that you have it all in the CRM. So, when you're working with a customer, you can see emails sent, you can see if you're making calls to them, you can see texts that are going back and forth. So all that is, built in so that you can see, what's going on with that customer.
So when do you guys envision the texting being integrated?
Yeah, so the texting is any day now. I would
Okay.
say that we had a specific time. We were shooting for the end of this month, but I don't want to tell you that and it
Soon.
not come. But anytime we're very excited to have that roll out. Keep us in mind. I'm sure the next time we talk, I'll say, "Yep, we got the texting rolled out and everything's ready to go."
And
So
when someone replies back to you, where does the text reply go?
yes, it goes right into well, it depends on where. I think if you synced your phone in, I think that has the ability to go back into the text, depending on a certain different parameter. So I don't want to say for all because I know there's different text
Okay.
providers, different SMS, but the goal would be to have all of your texts, that you're sending back in. I think with the provider that we're working with, we do have them nestled in, but I don't want to be sure. I'll get that answer
Okay.
and be sure to have it on the
Yeah,
next
better
call.
to not say something and then
Yeah.
have it shut
How
and then
much,
shoot
and I know you're just getting back into it, but when you were in, selling in New Jersey, is that still the most prevalent? I mean, you talk to agents all day. Is texting really something that,
Texting is huge. I mean, I almost feel like a lot of people view a phone call in many instances as just an interruption. You know what
mhm,
I mean? They look at it as maybe like selfish, an interruption. I mean, you never know what someone's doing if they're in the middle of something important. Something along those lines. That's why I feel like texting is, and my clients felt like texting is just as good, if not better,
yeah,
because they can reply on their own time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
They're not having to just stop what they're doing and answer the phone just to have like a chit chat.
yeah,
So I think if you remember somebody on their birthday and you send them a text message, happy birthday, Kyle, just wanted to wish you the best day ever, make it more personal that way in a text, just to them, just for them to know that you're thinking about them. That's really all that matters.
yeah. I know, and that's a great point. And this is where we have that built in with birthdays and different things built into the texting, so that you're not having to type it all out. You're still thinking about them. It has their birthday. You know who's coming up, and you can quickly get that information, texted to all the birthdays of the day, and
Oh, that's
what
pretty
things
awesome.
are. So, yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the same technology and the same things that we're doing with the emails, you can do with the texting. And so, like I said, any day that would be that'll be rolled out. Chances are, by the time you log in, we'll have that that functionality in there. So yeah, be sure to check that out.
Yeah, I love being able to schedule text messages,
Yeah,
especially like, for birthdays so you don't forget. And then
yep.
you get that text back, "Hey, thanks so much." Like, "Whoa, hey, I'm pretty thoughtful." You know what I mean?
Everyone likes to be recognized on their birthday, that's for sure.
Yep, yep. But make
So
sure you say something more than happy birthday, because if say something a little bit more personal. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. So Nick, yeah, I appreciate you joining this time, and thank you guys for having
Yeah, I
one
think
more.
it's great. I think it's great to have a system that is meant for your sphere of influence, your friends, family, people that have worked with you before, people that would refer you if asked. I think too many times those people get lost in the shuffle in your main CRM. So just to have a place for them with their own campaigns and things meant for them, I think it's a good idea. What's the price on this? Taking 20% off with lab coats, but what's the price of the monthly?
It's a great question. Normally it's $39 a month.
Oh my goodness, that is cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's what we're trying to target. So I think it's $3.99. So again, 20% discount. So use that LCA 20 code.
Yeah, $3.99 is like the cost of some CRMs every month.
Yep. No, that's why we're doing this. I mean, it's really, again, to simplify and build those relationships and to tie back into our other stuff. So
no excuse now to not have a CRM at $39 or 20% off. So like, let's do the math for those of you who are bad at math like me. So 39 times 12. See what I did there? And then minus 20%. Yep. Hold on a second. Shoot. 39 times 12 is 468. Okay. Times 0.2. 468. And then minus $93. 468 minus 93. Yeah. So it's 375. So less than 399. Very good.
Yep. Good deal.
You can just buy it all. Just buy it all at once.
Absolutely. I mean, it's super easy. Jump in, start using it, and tell us how you love it.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. No comments in the chat today. People are very quiet, but that's okay. They're probably just amazed at the amazing deal and features that they are just speechless. But Kyle, it's been great having you as always. We appreciate you. Everyone who's been watching, we appreciate you as well. Go check out Lone Wolf Relationships. Take 20% off of the LCA 20 and start getting in front of your sphere of influence and getting those deals that you deserve. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Nick.